Really, ordinarily, police should have that huge capability and responsibility. But from what you've seen in the involvement with this one, are you impressed?
You know as well as I do that the police have since been made effeminate in the matter of security in this country, and we all know where that came from. The very long years of military rule, the neglect of that institution, and since the return to democratic governance, the parceling up of all that the police should be doing, and which has meant reduced funding. So we don't want to go through the catalogs again. But the police is totally out of the picture. I mean, we see more now of the army. The best that the police have been able to do now is protecting their barracks and their police stations. But then the Boko Haram elements still manage to infiltrate and do damage. The police is virtually out of it. I don't know. I mean.
Well, when we talk about the police, and you also talked about intelligence gathering, what comes to mind is how is it that the terrorists now know much more about some individuals? I mean, just 2 days ago, a police officer, a woman, was gunned down while trying to change her flat tire. It means that it looks like they know those uniformed officers. Why is it so impossible for us as a people to volunteer information as well as go and tell the people what exactly we know about some of these people operating within some neighborhoods?
Oh. This group has had time to firmly establish itself. And occasionally you have rogue elements, even in the uniformed services, who may be double dealing. They are part police, part Boko Haram. That is, some information go out through even the official government agencies to these elements that they are supposed to combat. So you won't be surprised that some information comes to them through people, official agents of government. Because the way they operate and the accuracy and the deadly nature of what they do tells you that they have more intelligence information than even those who are officially employed to do the job.
Now, what do you think the government should be doing that they've neglected to do, considering that even security officials now seem to be the target? So like you mentioned the policewoman who was shot to death while trying to change her tires. The JTF also recorded soldiers that were just bombed in Borno as well. What do you think government should be doing?
Now, in the matter of what government should be doing, government is doing what it claims to be doing, i.e. equipping the JTF to combat these groups. But these groups also have this uniform personnel as their primary target. So it's about who has the superior intelligence information. And then, they are enemies. They are like sworn enemies. The Maiduguri incident of yesterday morning, God, that's not a big deal. The JTF is chasing Boko Haram all about the city. The Boko Haram also are fighting back. So occasionally they have this advantage based on information that they may have gathered either on their own or from, as I said, rogue elements, even from within those who are paid to combat them. So government, I don't know what government says it is on top of the situation, that they cannot be intimidated, but the evidence that we have does not support the government's claim.
Do you think that amnesty should also be a part of the considerations? I mean, a lot of people have advocated the carrot and stick approach, and they believe that one of the carrots in this situation should be amnesty. Do you buy that idea?
This amnesty thing, I don't really know what it means, because if the group has neglected to come forward, or so they say, for dialogue, do you grant a blanket amnesty? I have no problems with granting amnesty to those who may have in their custody, who may have cooperated with the government. But you cannot go on to give a blanket amnesty. And the group, I'm not even sure that the group is keen on anybody's amnesty. It's about a group. This is a trend that maybe it has just got to Nigeria, but it's long been there in the Middle East. People are committed to self-immolation, and they believe that they are fighting, quote unquote, a just religious cause. It's difficult talking about amnesty. Are they really asking for amnesty? I don't think they're asking for amnesty, and I don't think that amnesty is the thing that they're keen on. I guess with some of their leaders and the hundreds of innocent citizens that the JTF have picked up and locked up, and the brutal manner the JTF fights back, maybe if there is a moderation in the approach by the JTF in combating the group, that may give some relief. But blanket amnesty for who?
Well, some would say they don't understand what you mean by moderation for a group that really has been so insensitive. You go to a motor park, you go to church, you go to religious places, you attack religious and traditional rulers, and these are people, you would want to call innocent and no partakers of whatever grounds they claim to have. How do you deal with a group like this? This is a guerrilla warfare, isn't it?
You know that after every attack, there is a counter-attack. But from the report by Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and some of our local civil society groups, there is this tendency to, okay, this thing has happened in this area, you go there, you pick people who look to the JTF like people who can be involved. That's principle of collective punishment. The line is thin to distinguish between who is a Boko Haram member and who is not. But just going to pick up people randomly and lock them up and then extrajudicially kill some, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not too sure that those who are in the JTF and are fighting back cannot really identify those they should arrest. And then when you arrest hundreds of people and lock them away, it generates some furore, and then go back again. It's becoming ding-dong. And you attack, you counter-attack, and then when you think you have overwhelmed them, they behave as if they have been subdued. The fire next time becomes more outrageous than the last one. Like this first station thing. It's definitely an attempt to ratchet the state and ratchet the system. But I go back to the point that I'm more worried about intergroup relations, the free movement of people and goods. Because if you are not a federal civil servant in northern Nigeria now, federal civil servant, you are just an ordinary citizen, the question arises, what are you waiting for? And more and more people are going to leave the region. And it's going to leave the place weaker economically. The impoverishment will continue. The reaction to their objective conditions will be more suicidal, more violent. So I think we should, northern elders and northern opinion leaders should heed what General Danjuma has said about the need for the likes of them to sit down and really talk about that region and what the way forward. I don't think it's the federal government. The federal government has lost.
Well, earlier on you talked about the government either being in control or otherwise, but here's what the president said yesterday about security. He says that they outlined a three-pronged approach to tackling insecurity, and that includes development of counter-terrorism capacity in conjunction with neighboring countries, political dialogue with disgruntled groups, and an all-inclusive economic framework that will provide jobs for the disadvantaged and susceptible. How do you see this approach? it means they're clearly thinking about this matter. They're not just watching things go on.